In this video, I'll share with you the minimum alerts that you should have on BTC. I'll also share how you can easily set up these alerts in TradingView. Now, one thing I'll mention is that this is really critical to have alerts on Bitcoin when you're doing a strategy like scalping. So I'm finishing up the training here on scalping, and one of the things that I mentioned there throughout is that when you're trying to trade and scalp the alt market, right? The movements of BTC is very important. So you want to be alerted when BTC will be making a move either to the upside or to the downside, especially to the downside. So the alerts that I'll share in here are the minimum alerts that I think you should have, but they are very helpful to understand when something is happening in BTC that you have to pay attention to, okay? So this is real easy in TradingView. It's one of the reasons why I like TradingView. So we're looking at BTC USD Coinbase on the 5-minute time frame, okay? And I have the alert tab open over here, and you can see I've erased most of my alerts here, and there's only 3 remaining. And the 3 remaining are off the 5-minute time frame, all right? So there's really 3 alerts that I think at a minimum you should have. The first alert is a move to the upside. So if we look at here, we'll see here this move to the upside. This is about, what was this move here? It probably was just about 0.3%. Yeah, 0.3% on this move. And then this move was probably about a point, right? So about 1%, okay? On the upside moves, this will depend on how much you want to be alerted on upside moves. What I have set up is a 1% upside move on any one bar, okay? You could, if you wanted to be alerted ahead of time, is say, I want to be alerted on a 0.3% move, okay? Now, how do you do that? It's real simple. When you're in the chart that you want, just right-click on it and do Add Alert. And you want to select, obviously, BTC USD, and then select the moving up percent. Set your percent that you want, okay? So let's say that I don't want it to be 1%. I want it to be 0.3, okay? I want to be alerted a little bit in advance of a move up, right? Is what typically happens. So I'll talk about the move down here in a second. And you have an option. You say, do I want to be alerted just once? Okay. Do I want to be alerted once per bar or once per minute? Basically, hey, ping me so that I really pay attention. I usually do once per bar, okay? So I do once per bar, and I actually have it play a sound. So you'll see here, you can say when you want it to expire. You can say I want it to show me a pop-up, right? Or play a sound. That way, even though I have this chart usually up in one of my screens, it will actually alert me audibly to pay attention, okay? So here, you can choose the sound that you want. So a fault, for instance, and usually I do a nicer sounding noise on the move up, you know, something like that. That way I know that, hey, that's a move up, and then I try to make a more jarring sound on the move down. And then you can choose how often do you want this to go off? Just once, every 5 seconds, every 10 seconds, every minute, for instance. I usually just have it set to once, okay? Now here, I have a way that I name this. I like to do exactly because this shows up in the description, and if you have a lot of alerts, it's good to have a common naming. So I do BTC USD, the time frame, 5-minute, even though it shows that there, right? And then I do what it actually is, which is it's a 0.3% and then up, right? And then I can create this. And you'll see here, it should show up there. There it is right there. So you'll see it's there. There is actually the actual alert, okay? So that's on the move up, right? I like the 1%. I like to just be alerted on 1% moves because typically what happens with BTC is that it will do these 0.3% moves quite a bit, right? But the ones that really matter to me are the 1%. Okay, the 1% and a 5-minute bar are the ones that matter to me. All right, that's when alts might react, is when it continues this move here, okay? Now on the downtrend, these are the probably more important ones to keep in mind because you want to be alerted as quickly as possible on a potential retracement of BTC, okay? So there's two alerts here that I would suggest on that, which is a 0.3% retracement on a 5-minute time frame and a 0.5% or a 1% retracement. So it's really up to you on how sensitive you want it to be. You'll see here I have set up 0.3% and -1%, okay? Sometimes, and this is when you really need to pay attention, is that the -3 and 1 will pop up at the same time. A 1% retracement usually is the sign of some weakness, okay? And if we go back in the chart, and let's see if we can see this here. So here, this is a sign of some weakness, right? Right here, this bar here, right? That's a sign to pay attention. And it did retrace down, right? And then here it happened again, right? So what you're usually finding here in BTC is that it's either the 0.3% moves or the actual 1% moves that you really need to pay attention to on the lower time frames. So because this is in this section here, the alts reacted, okay? And I exited some actual scalp positions on this actual move here, okay? Because it was a 3% move to the downside. It was retesting or looking to retest the 8,000, 8,100 range, right? So there's just a lot of uncertainty. So it was a good time to get out potential positions that were in profit or look at positions that were close, okay? And that's what I did. And then obviously I got alerted on this uptrend here. I wasn't actually trading though, but I did get alerted and then got alerted on this downtrend, okay? So how do you set these alerts? It's the same way. And let me just go to another time frame. Let's say that you want to actually set this on a 15-minute time frame. Same type of thing. I changed the time frame to 15 minutes. And let's say that, look, you are fine, maybe not in the lower time frames, but if something moves 15 minutes, you know that you need to pay attention, right? So this move here of 1.5% or so, 2% on BTC, maybe you want to be alerted to that. It's real simple to do. Just go add alert. And then here, of course, you would do moving down percent, and then you would do 1% or 1 point, let's say 3%, for instance, in one bar. And then you can actually say, when do you want to be notified, right? I already went through all that stuff. Now, you could also change the bars. You could say, well, if it goes down 1.3% in 2 bars, so 2 consecutive bars, then I want to be alerted, right? That's obviously a pretty big decline there for BTC, right? It'd be 2.6%. So that's a pretty big retracement. You would then be looking for some stopping volume and then obviously some turnaround there, ideally is what you're looking for. So you can change the amount of bars as well. I like to do the 5-minute time frame because I want to be notified when I'm scalping, when I'm doing these positions where it really is dependent on the lack of volatility in BTC, right? I don't want BTC to be very volatile, because if it's very volatile during that time, it's volatile to be volatile to be in positions in the alt market, okay? Just because people are moving from alts to BTC, they're maybe taking profits on the upside and they're looking to protect their capital on the downside. So there's just a lot of volatility. So you want to be alerted ahead of time. That's why I choose the 5-minute time frame. So I suggest especially if you're going through the scalp training, you set up 3 alerts, okay? I'll just go over them real quick. The 5-minute is either on the upside 0.5% or 1% up. And then there's 2 alerts on the downside, either 0.3 or 0.5 and 1%. Okay, so you want 2 of them because you want to be alerted on a bigger change as well. So you'll be alerted obviously on a move down to the downside of 1% because the 0.3% or 0.5% will go off. But you also want to be doubly alerted if it's a bigger move, just because that's something that should make you pay attention. And you should start looking at the BTC chart and watching price action closely and seeing what might be going on, because the alts are soon to be reacting. So that's the 3 alerts that I would suggest. I'll be doing some more alert videos because TradingView has some really cool alerts that you can set up. But it just makes it simple and just a lot of parameters. So if you haven't used the alerts in TradingView, it's definitely something worth looking at and diving into because they are powerful. Well, that's all in this video. Down below, you'll see links to tools that I use. Also, a document I put together on trading cryptos. Just gives you a lot of what I've learned here in successfully trading cryptos. Subscribe here on YouTube and definitely join us in Discord. You'll find a link to that down below. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.